July 1518. The Holy Roman Empire is a pressure cooker of celestial fear and terrestrial suffering. In the city of Strasbourg, the summer heat is a physical weight. It carries the malodor of the ill and the stagnant Rhine. A woman named Frau Troffea emerges from a timber-framed doorway. There is no joy in her eyes, only a terrifying, glassy vacancy. She begins to move. Not a waltz, not a folk dance, but a frantic, jerky twitching. This is the incipit, the beginning of an event that would defy the logic of both the church and science. She dances for 6 days. Her feet are raw, weeping blood into the dust. She ignores the pleas of her husband. She ignores the bread offered to her. By the time she collapses, the contagion has already leapt. The Corria Lasciva, the wanton dance, has begun. By the end of the first week, 34 people are dancing. By August, the number swells to 400. This is a clinical reality recorded in the city's records. Imagine the sensory assault. The city is now a cacophony of panting breath and the striking of feet. The smell of unwashed bodies and open sores hangs heavy under the Alsatian sun. The city's men of science are summoned. They look for a biological cause, but they do not find a virus. They diagnose the afflicted with sang-froid, hot blood. The brain was literally overheated. In the medical philosophy of the time, the humors of the body were out of balance. The authorities decide that the only way to stop the dancing is to facilitate it. They believe the dancers must sweat it out. They hire professional musicians. They provide a designated dance hall. They hire strong men to hold up the dancers as they lose consciousness, keeping their legs moving, even as their hearts begin to fail. The result is a massacre of exhaustion. The death begins in earnest. Men and women begin to drop at a rate of 15 per day. They die of strokes and cardiac arrest. To understand the why, we must look at the medieval psyche. This was a population in the shadow of Saint Vitus' curse. The belief was absolute. If you angered the saint, he would compel you to dance into oblivion. 1518 was a year of the Great Hunger. Famine had decimated the Rhine Valley. Syphilis was ravaging the poor. When the stress of existence becomes an unbearable weight, the human mind looks for a way to break. Modern theorists point to ergot, a fungus that grows on rye and produces alkaloids similar to LSD. But there's a flaw. Ergotism usually cuts off circulation. It makes it impossible to dance for days. This was not a chemical poisoning. It was a psychosis socialis, a social psychosis. By September, the dancing finally stopped. The survivors were taken to a shrine in the hills. They were given small lead crosses and red shoes and prayed over. The fever broke as quickly as it began. The dancing plague remains the most documented and terrifying example of mass psychogenic illness. It reminds us that we are not just biological entities, but cultural ones. Our minds are tethered to our age. In the end, they danced because, in a world of famine and fear, their bodies were the only things they had left to give up. EPK Capital. We build wealth for generations. Visit us at www.epkcapital.com. This content is for educational purposes and is not financial advice.